Oh, hater! Welcome to the Ope three-way pro wrestling podcast. It's our Dirty 30, and this is my last beer, unfortunately, but I'm still happy because I'm here with my buds, Donny and Pierce. Fellas, how we feeling today?
Is that a thing now? Is that actually a thing? I know we did that last episode. Now is this actually like formally a thing?
So, I was a little out of cadence for this one, and as I said, this is my last beer, so, I mean, who's to say if I remember some more, but,
What
I
what
mean,
is
I
that?
had it.
Do you
Here's
hear
my
that?
last on hand.
It's the sound of a new bit.
That's what I'm just checking. So I'm checking.
I mean,
All right.
fellas, I'll bring the beer. There's no issue here. I will bring the beer
I've got
if
a
it keeps us
Tim
all
Hortons
happy.
coffee in front of me, so that doesn't really make much of a cracking open a cold one sound. But
Oh, you got a nice beverage in there. You can enjoy it. It's culturally relevant, Donnie.
but I'm doing good. To answer your question, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'd hope you're doing really good. You had yourself a hell of a weekend there, bud. Hey,
That was a weekend. It was a weekend. We'll get into that in a little bit. Pierce, how you doing?
We're doing, I suppose. It's been a
you
week.
suppose.
It's the busiest 2 weeks of work for me because we have our big show. So it's there's a lot that I'm doing.
Wait,
these
wait.
next 2 weeks.
That's not how you say it, though.
What do you mean?
Well, you've got
Not-
a big show.
Not that kind of big show.
It's a big bad show tonight.
I'm gonna press it, Donnie.
Yeah. It's a
Are we
big
gonna do
show.
Are we going to do it?
Yeah, don't threaten me and then not do it.
I did do it.
I didn't hear it.
I'll fucking do it again.
Then do it again.
Do it, old man.
Shut
Oh.
up, bitch!
How about twice?
That's the only time I heard it, and I still don't think that's the right button. You got to update with the times here. All right, you got to go with
Fuck yourself!
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
button.
Donnie put in all that work.
But all right, that's enough about me. Follow us on socials: X, Instagram, Facebook. Donnie, what episode are we up to on YouTube?
25, almost
We
caught
are-
up. So that's through the Royal
we are-
Rumble.
Damn close.
I remember when we just did episode 25. Man, time flies.
Yeah,
Yeet.
yeah. That's through the Royal Rumble. So I'm hoping to have. Ideally, I'm hoping to have everything up, including this episode that we're recording now, by next week's episode. So
Hey,
Good
Yeah.
possibility.
I'll be here for it.
But I think it's enough about the future. I think we need to talk about something else. Donnie?
Right on
this
cue.
day, 2001, 1 week after Jerry the King Lawler left the WWF. I believe there was some dispute with his wife at the time. I believe that was the cat. Don't know the full story. A shock new commentator is brought in. The wise man, the advocate, Paul Heyman, would jump from the dying ship that was ECW to become the new color commentator with Jim Ross. Jerry King Lawler and Jim Ross are a classic duo, but JR and Paul Heyman is very, very good commentary. That might be the best commentary duo of all time.
Oh, of all time, you say?
They're so good together.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you remove Jerry from, JR, and you kind of get this weird little dissonance, I feel like, between commentators. But Paul and JR definitely flowed with each other very, very well. Almost made you not miss Jerry as much. Especially didn't miss him after his fucking disastrous 2010s run. Yeesh.
Where he kept making the same jokes and everybody had to fake laugh for them.
Family-friendly Jerry Lawler did not do it for me.
I didn't
mean-
like non-PG Jerry Lawler because it was just a man being a pervert.
Yeah, but
So,
everybody was a pervert in the Attitude
Jerry
Era,
Lawler.
so it just kind of blended together.
Something
Yeah, I mean,
puppies. Something puppies. It was all that. It was just repeat after repeat.
And
well, you had also
puppies and
men with
screaming.
you had men with phallic super soakers, and you know Billy Gunn with his ass cheeks hanging out every which way. I feel like
He
there's
was
kind of a theme going
initially.
there.
He is
They
daddy
didn't
ass.
call him Mr. Ass. They didn't call him Mr. Ass for nothing.
Bra and panties matches.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. So, I mean, I obviously Lawler had some very questionable stuff in hindsight, but if you consider what was going on in the era, wasn't
It
really
was
that too far removed from whatever was happening on a week to week basis.
it was crashed
Yeah,
TV. It was the 90s. I get it.
Yeah.
sure was.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump ahead.
Yeah, keep going.
2013. William Moody, known to WWE fans worldwide as Paul Bearer, sadly passed away at the age of 58. Rest in peace to Paul Bearer. I mean, one of the greatest managers of all time. The Undertaker Kane storyline would not be the same without him.
Yep.
When you look at definitely all the other clientele he's had over the years too, he had ravishing Rick Rude. He had a younger LA Knight as Percy Pringle back in the Championship of Wrestling of Hollywood days when he's really starting
as
to.
Percy Pringle, he did have Mean Mark Callis at one point.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, there was a glint of history there between the two of them at that time. But I mean, besides Paul Bearer, man, he had a range. I mean, even when he was managing Kane and he donned a little bit of the Percy Pringle look, but with some of the Paul Bearer attitude on top, like he wasn't just, raccoon eyes and pale skin.
No.
There's definitely more to him than that. That doesn't get talked about enough, I feel.
No, and there's a lot of legendary stories about him ribbing people. Like he was a legendary jokester. So
Oh, he was a shithead.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stories about Paul Bearer.
Uh-huh.
But we'll jump ahead. 2017, WWE Fastlane takes place from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where there was a monumental debut in the building.
Oh God.
Me. It was my first ever show. I mean, as a fan, it was super hype. I wasn't too happy about Braun Strowman's first loss to Roman Reigns in it was the first of their series of matches, and they had a really, really great feud.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't be his last loss.
Nope.
No, it wouldn't be, unfortunately.
He's still a good old Wisconsin boy in my heart.
Good old
In the main
Wisconsin boy in
event-
his heart, too.
That is true. In the main event, Goldberg would defeat Kevin Owens in 23 seconds to win the Universal Championship, thanks to a distraction from Chris Jericho.
Man, Goldberg loved burying people right before Mania, eh?
Yeah, I mean, as a fan in the arena, it was hype. Like, I never thought I'd see a Goldberg match, let alone him facing Kevin Owens. And then it just, match happened. Hindsight being 2020, terrible decision. Goldberg versus Brock did not need the title.
What terrible booking decisions involving Goldberg? No way. Come on now, Pierce. Well, maybe the match was just short enough for you to not really catch that, and then afterwards it sinks. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it was. You're like, oh shit, that was fucking sweet, and then you're like, oh man, that really was stupid.
That match would have lasted 2 more minutes. I would have realized how dog shit it was.
You get hyped in the moment, and then you think about it. It's like sometimes when certain people win the Royal Rumble.
You're not true. Not true at all. There.
Who also used the spear as it happened. What a coinkydink, hey?
Man, I'm hijacking this for just a second, but the fact, I've made it a bit in our group chat now that every time I see somebody do a spear on WWE television, I post for lulz better than you know who, but I'm actually not lying. That spear that Bianca Belair did was really good. Tony D had a really nice spear last night on NXT. Who else have I said recently had a better spear?
Ricky Starks. Or
Ricky Starks.
Ricky Saints.
Yeah, Ricky Staines last week had a better spear than you know who. So
He was one of the best spears in wrestling in general. Not many people can top that spear.
wow. There's more that we're not sure about than there are ones that we're definitely sure can't. No, that's all that
Either
needs
way,
to be
it's
said.
an overused move. I'm not going to disparage the man. It's an overused move, and you just want to hate on something that I like because you are
I'm not hating on something that you
Canadian.
like. Don't make it about you.
I'm going to make it about me because I'm a narcissist.
To be fair, we did
no
kind
wonder
of
you're a
hijack
fan of
Pierce's
CM
segment,
Punk.
Donnie.
Yeah, you hijacked
Well,
my one thing.
Well, I said
You
I wanted to
Canadian
politely
asshole.
interrupt, but yeah, no wonder you're a CM Punk fan. There's a correlation there.
Still did nothing wrong. Happy birthday, the juggernaut Jordan Grace.
Happy birthday, Jordan Grace.
hey.
She had some good banter with Cora Jade last night before that unfortunate injury happened. So
Yeah, but it seems like Cora's okay, and
thank
that's really
goodness.
what matters.
Yes, thank goodness
Thank
she's
God.
seemingly okay from the injury from last night's show.
People get their bell rung. It happens.
Yep.
So,
People need to learn how to read lips better. That's what I learned.
yeah, I would agree with that.
I like how Jordan went to bat and she's like, she didn't say that. She did
Yeah.
not say that.
There's a few instances of stuff like that on Twitter yesterday. There was putting the status of what's her name, Jamie Hayter, behind a paywall, and Jamie Hayter quote tweeted it saying, "I have a visa issue. No need to click the link."
It'd be behind whose paywall, Donnie?
Podcast favorite Sean Ross Sapp, of course.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen a man with such thinner skin.
It's very confusing. Like this guy is an industry leader for what he does. I don't want to get into too much of this, but I've mentioned my disdain for him before. This guy's an industry leader, right? In what he does, for better or for worse. But he is the most consistent news source, I would say, in the professional wrestling circle. Better than Meltzer, better than whoever else. But like any tiny bit of critique, criticism, anything just evolves into straight warfare on his timeline. And it's like, bro, like, know your lane. You're better than these people. Why are you doing this all the time?
Any type of criticism, he has to defend himself.
It's crazy.
Like he said that thing about The Rock having the 3 fingers. Now he has 2 fingers down. We'll talk about that later. He's like, if anybody wants to apologize to me, I'm right fucking here. It's like, dude, just
Controversy creates cash.
No, the guys.
This isn't controversy. It's just being an asshole for no reason.
I feel like he's elicited some controversy among the three of us. I could be wrong.
Because
been wrong before.
He has thin skin.
Yeah, but there's other stuff too.
Or so he would make you think.
Doxing people online and crap like that. Like, the IWC's filled with a bunch of weirdos. But like, when you have a job that seemingly pays you well and gives you good opportunities, and you seemingly are quite good at it, why do you need to sit there and spend hours and hours a day flaming people? I don't get it. Anyways, to each their own.
The biggest thing I know with the internet is you don't feed the trolls.
I sure as hell have zero interest in ever talking to him or seeing him or anything with him. So
I think you had a little spat with him earlier this year, did you not? Or was it last year?
On my personal account, I flamed him over the Ibu nonsense.
Which now I see that dude on my timeline again, still just spouting bullshit. So
yeah, big
and
surprise.
Air Gold too, so that doesn't help either. So
no, they're all idiots.
let's get past it. Let's not talk about that. Donnie, how was your weekend?
My weekend was really fucking cool. All right.
Hey.
So first of all, where's the air horns here? Happy birthday to me.
Hell yeah, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday to me.
Late birthday to the Don Man.
Thank you.
Said it yesterday when it was your birthday.
Yes! I love that!
Appreciate you both.
I love getting older for you, Donnie. It's a great thing.
Thank you. It's funny. I woke up on the day my birthday was yesterday. I woke up yesterday and I'm just walking by in the living room, and Marta, she starts singing "Old Gray Mare Ain't What He Used to Be,"
Oh, hell no.
and I'm just like, "Excuse me." And she's like, "No, no, I
It's
wasn't
offensive
singing."
at all that you know that song, you know?
Yeah, right?
That kind of dates you in and of itself, really.
Yeah. So I was like, "Really? Like you didn't even say happy birthday yet?" Like, so that happened, and
Did
then
this
as
unage me that I had no idea what the fuck you just said?
yeah, well,
Yes.
it's yes, it does. It's an old timey song that
I
talks
am the
about an
young
old
man of the podcast,
old
so
horse. She coincidentally was not singing it about me. I don't know what she was singing it about, but I found it very offensive. And sorry, my birthday was 2 days ago. See, I'm losing. I'm getting Delulu in my time. But then yeah, yesterday I woke up and I had a stiff neck, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking 38. Great, thanks guys. So, but beyond that, good weekend. Went to SmackDown. Went to Elimination Chamber. We'll get into the specifics of Elimination Chamber because there's a lot to cover, obviously. But really
but
quick,
as for SmackDown, where were you sitting?
I was sitting directly in front of the stairs leading to the ring from the ramp side. So if you watched SmackDown on Friday and you saw that pretty entertaining promo between 5 out of the 6 participants in the men's elimination chamber match, I was standing right beside CM Punk the entire time. I was not the guy in the red hat. I was the guy in the John Cena attire, which I do not regret.
You mean the guy on the WWE.com website?
Yeah, the guy
You
on
know,
the
these sweet stills?
WWE.com website, the guy on Netflix.
WWE.com website is that's a fucking it's a way to say it, Brandon, but
But
so it's
Yeah.
WWE.com.com.
Yeah, that's a site there, yeah. I
yeah,
thought we all
so
knew that. No?
we got
Oh,
we got some good coverage of myself and Marta sitting front row in not matching Cena attire, but both wearing Cena attire. So that was cool. I don't know if I'm gonna frame one of the pictures. There's a sweet picture that was taken where it was during the tag team warfare that was happening on SmackDown, and the Legado del Fantasma are flying off the top rope, and you can see us like watching it as it happens. Like that was a pretty sweet
nice.
picture.
Maybe we'll see it on the Ope Graham one
Might
day.
we might I posted on the stories. Maybe I'll get around to posting it as an actual post. Maybe I'll do that when I'm done. But yeah, so that was cool. Also got to do some meet and greets. The pros to the meet and greets, I got to see Drew McIntyre, Alexa Bliss, and R-Truth. They were all lovely. Special shout out to Drew McIntyre. He was a 10 out of 10, very nice guy. Tried to talk to us. The negative to that was the stupid Leap Photography group that didn't want Drew McIntyre to talk to us and just treated us like cattle and were screaming at us the entire time. So fuck Leap
Mm.
Photography. They suck. But
Go fuck yourself.
yeah. But
You got
shout
to
out
meet
to
not future WWE champion R-Truth.
correct. Yes, the never will be WWE champion R-Truth. Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
But yeah, him, Alexa, and Drew were all very nice. So shout out to the three of them.
I'm definitely jealous of the
And
Drew.
and shout out to
Drew.
Cody post show for doing all the photos and autographs and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
speaking of photos you can frame, you know what I mean? That was a sweet little pic you got there with the old QB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pick with the quarterback.
Yeah, he actually took Marta's phone and used Marta's phone to take the picture. So
Nice.
shout out Cody for that one. And we took some WWE chairs home with us. Unfortunately, not the Elimination Chamber chairs that are going for like $500 plus on Facebook Marketplace right now. But we do have Road to WrestleMania Toronto, Canada written on our chairs. So
Nice.
Pretty cool.
yeah, so
That's the stuff, bud.
I'll keep those. Marta doesn't like the idea of keeping them, but too bad.
Well, there it be.
But
Well,
yeah, and then
as
Elimination.
always,
Sorry, go
shout
ahead.
out Marta.
Yeah, shout out Marta. She paid for those tickets, so kudos to her. She also said she could never go to the
Hmm.
show not sitting front row ever again, and tried to look for better seats for Elimination Chamber, which I kindly talked her out of that and said, "Hey, we already have tickets. Maybe let's look for tickets for
Does she
night
know that
one
we
of."
already have tickets for WrestleMania?
Yeah, we're one night, but I can almost definitely.
But for Saturday, we'll spend the however much Canadian to go front row.
Yeah, front row Canadian for night one is probably going to
Oh
cost us
God.
$250,000 with the current exchange rate. So I don't know about that, but
What about tariffs?
Yeah,
Did
you
you
want.
factor in tariffs?
I mean, Canadian is bad enough. It's
Yeah, you got to
not to
factor
speak
in the
ill of
tariffs,
Canadian
John.
currency, but
well, but hopefully by the time the tariffs would need to be paid, your commander in chief has already walked them back, like he's currently walking them back already. So we'll see.
I've got a fucking tariff headache from work, so
I'm definitely not getting into that, but needless to say, I planned this Vegas trip for a long time to spend time with you guys and to go to Mania. I have zero interest going to the United States otherwise until this is all rectified. So I'll just get that off my
hey,
chest right now.
Wisconsin exists.
Yeah,
Trust me.
well,
don't forget
I'll
your kindly neighbors to the south there, Don.
I'll have to bring all my own food and beverage and stuff because yeah,
We'll meet in Switzerland. We'll meet in the UP. We'll meet at
yeah,
Switzerland.
neutral ground. That makes more
Um,
sense to me.
I would hope you'd bring some of your own food because we need some coffee crisp down here, bud.
Yeah, I'm aware of your love for Canadian confection.
You can keep the Cheezels though; those are not that great.
Okay, duly noted. But Elimination Chamber,
I
we were
hope I didn't
also
offend you with that.
no, no, no. You didn't offend me with that. Elimination Chamber, though, I'm going to try and keep this train going. Uh, also went to that. We did not sit front row for that because that was about 5 times the price.
You could have seen fellow people like us, Con Man and Santi, who are now sick in bed.
I probably got some measles or something, but um,
No, wasn't in
I, I
America. It wasn't in Texas.
I could have sat with Drake. That wasn't mentioned on TV. That would have been cool. But
Oh yeah.
no, we sat in the 500s. Had a good sight line, but still sat in the upper deck. So, but it was still a very entertaining show, and that's what we're going to talk about right now because there was a lot that
It's
happened.
one of the best PLEs of the year so far. I mean, there's only been two,
Well,
but
one of the best PLEs of the year. Like this, I was reading some feedback and some, like reviews and stuff like that
all
on
time.
this show. This universally is a very liked PLE and might go as far as one of the best B level PLEs ever.
I
B
find it
level.
hard to contest that.
It's hard to contest. I would not put it as the best because Money in the Bank 2011 exists, and Canadian Stampede, I believe 97 exists, and those two are pretty hard to top.
In fairness, neither of those were PLEs.
Oh, he's got you there, Don or Pierce.
PLEs and pay-per-views are the same damn thing.
Don't tell that
Just
to
throw
Dave
some dirt
Meltzer.
on that. Throw some dirt on that fire. Yep.
I'll tell this to Dave Meltzer. Star ratings are stupid, and so are you.
No, it's okay. He can't. He's too busy watching Collision to know anything about what happened on that show anyway. So,
Or deleting tweets about how Triple H doesn't want to have a screaming match with Dwayne because Nick Khan's gonna take his side, so everybody's gonna tell Cody Rhodes to go into business for himself.
oh boy, but
Fucking moron. Doesn't know anything.
but
Retire and into your cluttered home.
no,
And
he's
just
gonna
leave
be
it at
having a watch party in the hotel that I'm staying at in Vegas.
that. Oh, you're
I
gonna go to
told you
that?
guys that? Absolutely fucking not. But he's still having. I don't know. Like his room, from what I understand, is the same room as what I have. Because when I read the summary of it, I'm like, that's basically the same room that I have. How the fuck would I have a watch party in there? Never mind this fucking guy. So
I wouldn't want to be in the same room as Brian Alvarez. I'll just leave it at that.
I'd rather be in the same room as Brian Alvarez than Dave Meltzer.
Oh, no, thank you.
But
Guys, I think I thought of the idea for our episode in 2 weeks. We just gather around the table and just shit on the Wrestling Observer. I think that's what we do.
That's a 7-star show.
Get us,
8
get
if
us
it's
in the
the
mood for
Tokyo
Mania
Dome.
season.
I'll set our IP to be out of the Tokyo Dome, and then we'll have to get 8 stars for that. But back on topic again, Elimination Chamber on Saturday. This past Saturday, out of the Rogers Center, they got about 38,000 people at the Rogers Center, so decently well attended. Not quite the same level, obviously, as WrestleMania 18 because WrestleMania does draw more people to the show. But it was still the highest grossing WWE event ever held in Canada because ticket
Is the
prices are
draw.
expensive. Show started off with a fucking bang. We had the Women's World Championship qualifying match, I suppose, which was Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, and Bianca Belair. That match was kicked off with Liv Morgan and Naomi squaring up until we got the return, finally, of Jade Cargill. And that
And the
return was
murder.
incredible because we got the murder. You can go ahead and finish it.
The murder of Naomi.
By God.
Yeah, by God.
That was a bait and switch too. She looked
Well,
like she was locked in on Liv, and then just.
Well, you can. I read lips just
We're
a bit
Ben.
better than other people, and Liv goes, "I did not do it," and you can see Jade say, "I know you didn't do it," and then do the fake out to hit Naomi.
Yep.
Well, she knows who did do it.
Yeah, Naomi is now dead. She got her ass beat, and then she got her head
Showed up.
slammed in the chamber door. Kayfabe dead.
She
She was
showed
at the
up to
preview.
the women of the Queen of the Ring.
Yes, kayfabe dead. Kayfabe dead.
She showed up there with a stylized neck brace. Did you guys see the
Oh, I didn't
pictures?
even notice that. That's funny. Good for her.
She was wearing like a kind of like a sparkly dress, and her neck brace was all sparkly.
Probably made it look a lot.
Oh, she hides it
classier
better than Tony.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tony Khan at the NFL draft.
At
Good God.
least make it part of the ensemble.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was the. So I'm trying to think back. Has there been a hotter start to? Well, first, has there been a hotter start to an Elimination Chamber match than that before?
I would say the only one that comes close is when Edge got eliminated in 3 minutes by Jeff Hardy and lost the WWE Championship.
Okay. And when was the last time we had such a hot start to an actual PLE or pay-per-view?
Ooh.
Like in the time that I've since been watching again, I can't think
Right,
of
Mania 40 when Drew hit that Claymore in 3 seconds in. Everybody thought that was the finish right there.
That's true. That was a pretty hot start to that. That was night 2. So we're gonna put an asterisk on that and say that doesn't count as much as if it had happened night 1. But
I mean, the same show.
But yeah, it was a hell of a moment, and part of me was worried that the rest of the match couldn't live up to that moment.
Oh no, these women fucking showed out.
And I say Liv intentionally because Liv Morgan made fucking sure that this match was worth it because that woman was fantastic in this match. MVP by far.
She'd been the MVP of the WWE Women's Division for the past year or so.
There's a reason why they slapped her resume up on the side there when she was coming out to the chamber. Like, I feel like she gets undersung a lot when you have, Rhea as your competition, when you have Io as your competition, Bianca, all big names for sure. But I mean, how can you argue against Liv Morgan being a pillar of a women's division? Just look at all the things that she's accomplished within the last, 5 years or so. And she continues to be relevant with, the women's tag title. She's going to continue to win titles even long after she has to drop, with Raquel. She's doing great work with Dom and the Judgment Day right now. She's fixed herself in almost like a leadership role better than even, Finn, who kayfabe would probably tell you is the de facto leader of the group right now, in spite of the fact that there are no leaders, right?
Yep.
That's why they kicked Damien out.
But she's fucking killing it, man.
her
Every right to
character,
be proud of herself.
yeah, her character work since the start of the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour is 10 out of 10. Her selling in matches is incredible.
Oh, she's got the best faces. She's so fucking funny, man.
Like, and her offensive move set. While I'm still not, I think collectively we're all not huge fans of Oblivion as a finisher. I think as a whole, her move set
Yeah.
is totally
I mean,
fine.
if she didn't do the rope thing and it was just like a jumping flatliner, I think everybody would probably prefer it.
Yeah, feels less scripted that way. Mind you, like you can make moves at the ropes still look really good if you're someone like Sol Ruka, but nevertheless, um,
Or Rey Mysterio.
even that, I think the 619 is a little bit forced nowadays. But
Yeah, but it's the 619. It's iconic.
Nowadays.
but yeah,
Who's
Liv
that
killed
jumping
that
out the
match.
sky?
Bianca, who was the winner of this match, also did a fantastic job. So Bianca Belair won in 29 minutes and 15 seconds. She pinned Liv Morgan
Liv went the
to
distance.
yeah, Liv went.
Technically, Bianca did too, but because the Naomi elimination, I'm air quoting right now, you can't see it. Liv went the distance, and I would say Bianca did too. They were the first two entrants.
Yeah, for all intents purposes, they were. Bailey was eliminated by Liv Morgan. Roxanne Perez was eliminated by Alexa Bliss. Bliss was eliminated by Liv Morgan, and then Liv was eliminated by Bianca. Thoughts on the match as a whole?
I mean,
I
all the
mean, on the
women.
note of,
Go ahead, Brandon.
go ahead, Pierce. Okay.
Brandon.
On the note of Roxanne Perez, though, like it took a combined, a concerted effort from Bianca, Liv, and Alexa to eliminate her, and she was definitely holding her own. Like I feel like they made a point with Roxanne, and why wouldn't you? But they made a point to really show off what she could do against all these women. Like the way she was going with, with Liv, and then she's, based on Bianca. Like I feel like this is definitely once they get done. And I hate to say they're going to strap a rocket ship to her as soon as she gets to main roster because she's still got so much time. And like, what if she caps out too early? But I feel like WWE is definitely testing the waters of how she's going to fare against like all of their time. And I feel like it's only a matter of time. Once she wraps stuff up in NXT, man, like she's going to go the distance real quick on Monday Night Raw, where I suspect she'll go to Raw anyways.
She's my Money in the Bank pick. She's incredible. She's only 23 years old, but the way she has picked up the business and shown that she could work really good as a babyface, work really good as a heel, and hold her own in a match like this and in the Rumble. There's a reason she broke the Rumble record. Granted, the Rumble record has been broken the past 3 years, so it's kind of like, okay, it gets broken pretty consistently. But Roxanne broke it by a good 4 minutes. So there's a good reason why she was given that. They see a lot in her, and they absolutely should.
Yep.
She's not called the Prodigy for nothing, man.
It's very true. I was a little bit disappointed that Roxanne wasn't the one who pinned Bailey, but it is what it is.
I just saw that up there.
Yeah. Do you see? Okay, so a couple things now. So Bianca wins. She's headed to WrestleMania. Fast tracking a little bit. She is now facing Io Sky for
we
the
should.
women's
I was going
world
to say
title.
we should kind of talk about what happened in Raw.
Yeah.
Because it is very linked to this.
Yep. So Io Sky is the new women's world champion. She beat Rhea Ripley, questionably with the help of Bianca Belair, unintentionally, obviously. But Rhea got mad that Bianca was cheering. So yeah, I'll just say what happened. Both women were outside. Rhea got back into the ring, and then Bianca started like cheering for Io to also get up and get back in the ring, which Rhea took offense to, distracted her, and eventually led to her downfall and Io winning. So now, currently, the match at WrestleMania 41 is Io defending the Women's World Championship against Bianca Belair. We are 6.5 weeks away from that event, so that can and likely will change, unless you guys think otherwise.
we'll see a triple threat, and it comes down to that moment between Bianca and Rhea. And you could say this happened at Chamber too. Rhea came out and stared her down and was like focused on what was next, or what was happening at Mania versus what was happening at Raw, because Io came out and was like, hey, I'm here too. Rhea has never beaten Io. They did not bring that up enough. They have a really storied history. And then Bianca was like saying, I'm pretty sure she was just more or less just saying, I want to see a finish to the match. I want to see who I'm going to face. Rhea took offense to it. They started pushing each other. That was probably grounds for a disqualification, but
Should have been disqualification. Don't know why it wasn't.
It should have been, but it's up to the ref's discretion.
Yeah.
There's a very awkward pause there. Like, they knew it was something was supposed to happen. They're like, wait a minute. Like, there's rules involving this in there. Like,
well,
up to the ref's discretion. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember SummerSlam 2023? Brock and Cody. Cody picked up the steps and hit Brock with it, and the ref's like, well, all right, and just
he probably needed him more than.
So it's up to the ref's discretion. I'm sure we're gonna get it. That'll get Rhea into the triple threat, and she had a really good promo about not wanting friends and everything, and so she took her eye off the ball. Io beat Rhea, but realistically, Rhea beat Rhea.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised to see the triple threat out of all this. And there's a few good records and not so good records associated to that match if it's a triple threat. So lots of story to go there. Curious to see what happens.
If it is a triple threat, can we get like 20 minutes minimum, please?
I would be surprised if we get closer to half an hour, honestly, with a match like that. That is, depending on where some of the other matches go, that could very easily be a night one main event.
Definitely.
With
those three. But we'll have to see.
Categorically, you have the three best women in WWE. In my eyes, Io Sky is the best women's worker in the world, let alone possibly the best worker in the world in general. Like, she is phenomenal. Bianca's an incredible face. She's the most popular woman on the Raw, besides Rhea. Rhea is like if Bianca and Io are an S when it comes to popularity, Rhea's an S plus, because she transcends wrestling with how popular she is.
She sure does. She sure does. There's a reason why she was the free-to-play character in a Call of Duty whole season, right? Like, people knew that stuff would transcend. And, I know people who do, like, weightlifting and bodybuilding and stuff. They're like, oh, you watch wrestling, so you know who Rhea Ripley is? And I'm like, yeah, I sure do. So
my friends who don't watch wrestling know who Rhea is because I'm quoting them, goth mommy.
Yeah, goth muscle mommy.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, that resonates, yeah.
Do we get any other Mania matches out of this match?
I feel like the obvious one, if you want to, maybe add a couple elements to it, but I mean, Liv and Alexa definitely still have some ongoing tension.
Yeah.
Dating back to Alexa's return at the Rumble when Liv eliminated her there.
Yeah.
And now with the roll up, getting eliminated in the Chamber. So
very creative,
I gotta feel like there's some repercussion.
Holding Bianca's braid to keep the pin in for 3. I thought that was very creative by Liv.
Using that as leverage, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was definitely something you don't see very often.
Sorry?
Was not the first time that braid was used in that match.
No, it certainly wasn't. Shout out Liv for taking that whip. Good Lord.
Left a welt.
Yeah, so there's 3 possible matches that could come out of that feud. You could have just like the straight one-on-one Alexa versus Liv. You could have it for the women's tag championships if you want to get Raquel involved, but there's still a little bit of
get spooky
housekeeping with who Alexa's partner would be. Someone she's probably been partners with before and tag champions with before.
Would it possibly be a Bliss Cross applesauce?
It could possibly be, yes, though I don't think it would sound nearly as campy this time around.
I think that was their team name.
Or you could go the mixed tag route and have Liv and Dom versus Alexa and Uncle Howdy, which I think is probably the most interesting option of the 3. and
I'd say
probably
so too.
logically, like from a storytelling perspective, probably makes the most sense. But you might get Dom versus Finn at WrestleMania, so
Yeah, doesn't have as much hype behind it. I would think and hope they get that sewn up before WrestleMania, if
they've been
not
teasing
shortly
that
after.
feud for a bit too. Not nearly as long as Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, but
Oh God, don't get me started on that one though. We
but
want to dedicate an episode someday to long, drawn out, unfulfilled builds.
yeah.
That's prime candidate number one.
Naomi's
And
gonna
the
get
second
murdered
thing
by
we can talk
Jade.
about on that is your long drawn out thought that Austin Theory is going to main event Mania. Brandon.
Okay. I regret bringing it up.
Well, we can talk about that on another podcast, and we will.
Naomi's gonna get murdered by Jade. We can all agree with that again.
Yep.
Yep. And what the hell does Bailey do?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Is that a Roxanne Perez match still potentially, even though they didn't necessarily eliminate each other or anything?
I mean, possibly.
We'll have to
I think
see.
their feud is pretty much done, but like if they want to, stamp Roxanne as the next best thing.
Bailey's got
Her
nothing
with-
else to do, as far as I can see, unless you want to
Yeah.
put her in a mid card feud. But
Or if they want to shoehorn Becky Lynch in there too, and they can just do a horsewoman match. I don't know that Bailey and Becky have really had much in the way of in-ring history, not as much as some of the other combinations.
Becky's got another couple more logical options, I think.
Sure.
That's another mixed tag candidate, especially after what happened on Monday.
Fair point.
But she could also feud with Lyra, I think, for that mid card title if they chose to bring her back.
Bailey would rep the belt good, I think.
Bailey versus Chelsea if they don't go the Piper route. Oh wait, no, she's on Raw now, so Bailey versus Lyra maybe.
Yeah, it has to be Bailey.
Yeah.
I still think Becky versus Lyra probably would be a bit more meaningful. But we'll have to see what happens there.
History.
Next up, we had a tag match where Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus defeated Nia Jax and Candice LeRae.
Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
Team TS, baby.
Yeah, 11 minutes and 40 seconds. The match was totally fine. Trish Stratus did not look out of place. Still,
she looks like a regular Canadian superhero there, bud.
She can still go.
Damn right.
Not really much more to add on this. I think now with Tiffany pinning Nia, I think that sets the sights very clear for Tiffany and Charlotte now. I don't think there's really any more need for distractions with that pin on Nia. But
now stop having Charlotte talk to dead Tiffy. I want Tiffy the bitch to come out, and I want them to just tear into each other in promos.
Yep.
I need Valley Girl fucking just mean girl Tiff for this.
Yep.
Talking to old soccer mom Charlotte with her haggard face. Although it's hard to say like how much when you talk about plastic in the face, I feel like you're almost not to make accusation against Tiffany, but like, pots and kettles and all that. I don't know. Perhaps I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
Well, thanks guys. We just got canceled.
Moving on.
Sorry. I'll leave that be.
Yeah. Thank you. Banger of a match that happened next. In an unsanctioned match, 27.5 minutes, Kevin Owens defeated Sami Zayn.
What a cinematic match this was. Like they really were on the cinema side of the unsanctioned match versus just the brutality. Don't get me wrong, it was very brutal, but this was more story driven than brutality driven.
Yeah, there was no blood. There were no pile drivers.
There were hockey sticks though.
Yeah, I mean you're in Canada and they're Canadian, so duh.
And Dom Mysterio made
gotta live the gimmick. Living the gimmick, brother. Gotta send the people home happy.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, what?
Dom Mysterio made an appearance.
Trash can?
Yeah, Pat McAfee was pretty good on
We're not
commentary.
talking about Pat McAfee's
No, this was
Elimination
a Pat.
Chamber performance. No. I don't get me
I'm
started
not
with that
talking
guy.
about him you guys booing that, but he had a really good call in this match. After Sammy picked up the trash can and hit Kevin with it, and he goes, Kevin Owens just got hit by Dom Mysterio. It was a great call.
The only thing he may have done well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys booed
Pat
us.
deserved all the shit
Understandable
that he
stuff.
got from social media for his performance at Elimination Chamber. Say it once, fine. Say it all night, go fuck yourself.
The
That
thing about
pretty
Pat
much.
in general,
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
no, I mean, I feel like the thing about Pat in general that I've been kind of gleaning from his commentary is that like people are like, oh well, Pat's Pat, and he basically like lives his gimmick or whatever. But it comes to a point now where I feel like you're just being a mark for yourself, and just you're funny, right? And you can come up stuff off the cuff, and like you get this leeway to just say whatever the fuck you want on TV because you basically are getting like Disney money and ESPN money and WWE money, and that's great. But like, he just sounds kind of like a mark at times. I don't know if that's the impression you guys get,
He's
I
not that
mean,
but
stupid. He's not that stupid. He knows what he's doing. He
he's
knows he's
I'm sure.
creating
a fan.
controversy, whether
He's a
it be
fan
what
in
he
the
did,
commentary.
whether what he did at Elimination Chamber or his Tuesday segments with Aaron Rodgers or anything else. He knows what he's doing. Okay? Like
Right.
he's not that stupid.
He's a smart man.
Right. He has
There's
to
a
be in
reason
order to
he was given
build
these
what he
sorts of
has.
money.
Absolutely. But there's
Can he
certain
tone it down a little bit?
there's certain
Sure.
thresholds of tastefulness and class where maybe you shouldn't go a little bit too far. And playing an idiot to why Canadians wouldn't be happy about a US anthem is like you're living the shtick a little bit too much. Like, read a fucking newspaper. This is not hard. So, and his half-assed
You are.
apology was not worth anything as far as I'm concerned. So,
From
See,
the
that's how you
Canadian
date
patriot
yourself.
himself.
That's how you date yourself there, Don. Read a newspaper. Damn.
I don't give a shit.
On the note
Like,
of birthdays. No, I
I,
hear you though.
Either way,
read a book, read a newspaper, read a fucking tweet. Who gives a shit? Like, well, don't read the tweets he probably prescribes to, but like, you get my point.
either way, let's just calm it down. The call was great, and Pat most of the time is pretty good because it's his character is the fan as a commentator, which we haven't seen in wrestling. We've seen it for a couple of years now, but back to the match. We got to see some barbed wire chair that was not shaved down, even though one person asked for it. I don't really give a shit who asked for it. If these guys wanted to beat the shit out of each other, let them beat the shit out of each other.
Was it the guy who took it in the eye by chance? I just wonder if that was his call.
I don't
And
know.
then he immediately
They
regretted
didn't
that
bleed.
decision.
They didn't bleed, so
Yeah, we saw
Yeah,
it.
something about that.
I mean, these guys were gonna put out a great match, but like on the story side, it really was just incredible to watch. Like we usually talk to each other we have like a Discord that we talk to each other on, and I had to charge my phone anyway, but I just wanted to watch the match, and I'm glad I just was able to sit down and watch it because I felt like I was watching almost a damn near masterpiece cinema wise, because the way that these two can tell a story through 25 years of build, and it sucks that this isn't probably going to be the Mania match due to what happened after the match. Like hats off to these guys.
match of the year so far, as far as I'm concerned.
Not
In
a bias at all, though, Ada.
Yes. I don't know if there's been anything in AEW that can match it, so I probably agree it's match of the year. I think after Sunday we might have something a little better, but
It depends on what you're looking for when you say match of the year. In all honesty, like, is there going to be better work rate matches this Sunday? Probably. Does that mean it's a better piece
I'm
of
talking
sports
story.
entertainment?
I think there's a match Sunday that's going to be the best piece of sports entertainment we've seen all year. you could probably guess which one.
Yeah, I don't think Hangman and MJF is going to be as good as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but
I think it could get there easily. But I digress.
Guess we'll have to find out this Sunday.
I digress. We're talking about WWE right now. Yeah, I mean, these guys just want to take the craziest bumps possible. That double table bump was awesome. That chair bump where the chairs didn't break from the Blue Thunder Bomb was sick and also sickening. And like, Kevin, why do you want to take back bumps on your back in the worst possible position? Like,
Why do you want to take barbed chair bumps on your face, Kevin? Man, Sammy took multiple apron power bombs, which was an homage to where they basically got started, where Kevin certainly got started.
Yeah, 2.5 of them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll go for fractions. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it was 2.5. So, but Kevin wins. Post match, they set up for the package pile driver on the concrete outside until
I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. They understand. They talk to me.
they talk to me.
Yeah.
So
I tried. I'm not the best singer.
No, it's
if
fine.
you're in Vegas for Mania, we'll be doing karaoke, and you will definitely hear me not be the best singer.
I can't wait.
There's my contribution to this little medley here.
Fantastic. Randy Orton returned, took out Kevin Owens, set up for the long-awaited punt that we haven't seen in quite a few years.
No, right?
Officials
I think
split
the
that
last
up.
time that we had seen it was like 2013 against
It's
the
been a
Big
very
Show
long time.
Survivor Series. Like it's and maybe there was one against in his Rollins feud that I know he tried it in their Mania match and he's tried in other matches and like they tease it but he never does it, but like they protect the shit out of that move and they absolutely should. And like if they would have hit it right there, I would have been completely fine. Genuinely. Because it had been so long since we've seen Randy and the pile driver took him out and the pile driver's banned. Guess what else was kayfabe banned? The punt.
Was just about to say, yeah, it's a bit of irony in this little feud here.
Did Randy get pile driven?
Yeah,
he
not
did.
Package pile driven, just pile driven.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think was part of the fuel for the Saturday Night's main event match between him and Cody, if I'm not mistaken.
That was
Cody's
the
like,
fuel
you
for
pile
it.
drived him on his head. Well, I mean, it was certainly part of it because he definitely was like, why would you do that to a man you called your friend? You dumped him on his head. You threatened his family, blah, blah, something to that effect.
Right.
But it was certainly a contributing factor.
So you figure you get Kevin versus Randy at Mania as a result. With Sammy, do we get Sammy versus Karrion Kross?
I'm
At
okay
WrestleMania?
I mean, what else do you give Sammy?
Well, I mean, how many Mania slots do you got? That's the question, too.
They put everybody on Mania nowadays.
Assume 8 matches per night. Could be more, could be less.
Damn.
It's about what they had last year.
Yeah?
It's better than them doing fucking 20 matches on a 7-hour card.
I mean, he could just be a Battle Royal winner because God knows that's important. But the only feud I could see him having going into that otherwise would be with Kross, probably. Kross needs to wrestle at some point, right? When was the last time Karrion Kross wrestled a fucking match?
That's a good question.
Yeah, when he injured Uncle Howdy, right? That was a while ago.
Oh, maybe there's a reason for that.
Sorry?
Maybe that explains it.
Things happen.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying like that was the last time he wrestled was when he injured Uncle Howdy. It is what it is.
It was so good that his entire faction got fired.
Yeah, half his faction got fired, and he injured the guy he was feuding with, and hasn't been in the ring since. Character work has been good, but still like little little curious on that part. But anyways, let's go to the main event. Men's Elimination Chamber. It was Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, who of course came out with an American flag.
Of
Drew
course.
McIntyre, Damian Priest, CM Punk, and John Cena made his third appearance of 2025 of his 35 to 40 that are supposedly happening. And in 32 minutes and 40 seconds, John Cena won. He will be challenging for the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania 41. He made CM Punk pass out. He made CM Punk pass out.
In the most vicious STF that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, that was a full on like a bully choke with a leg trap.
It's what the STF
it made it
like compared to how Cena does it.
so gnarly. It made Cena himself apologize for having to, lock Punk in it after he got his head squished like a grape by Seth Rollins, who, given his verbal spat after or during the hold, seemed to have a little bit of a murderous intent there.
Die.
Could you hear from where you were sitting there, Don?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't hear it. But when on the playback, I was very sports entertained by Seth's response there.
By Seth's little bout of psychosis there.
We could see him rolling around the ring. So there was it was kind of like if you were watching in the arena, you could see Seth was still like lurking around a little bit, hadn't left the chamber. So I wasn't surprised. I would go as far from a fan in the arena and like what the supposed match list was and whatnot. I gotta say that I have my group chat receipts to prove it with you guys. This match was kind of predictable. I called John Cena. I called John Cena winning this match as soon as it ended up being before the final segment.
It was a good match, though. Yeah, it was a fun match.
And to be fair, I feel like if you want to talk like predictability, I feel like with John Cena in particular, we were talking about it last week where, we were like, well, who's going to win the chamber? Who stands to gain the most out of this storyline? Who makes the most sense to win? And I feel like
Drew McIntyre from the dirt sheets, as they told us.
Was that before or after Damian Priest rolled him up?
No, that was the spoilers. That was the spoilers that were online on the day of Elimination Chamber the day before.
Oh yeah, those ever reliable spoilers. Yeah. No doubt from very reliable sources.
But Brandon and you and I both called Cena to win the match, and I'd have to play it back to know if we said the turn would happen that night, which we'll get into in a little bit. But
I don't think any of us called the turn happening.
I thought we did.
I think so.
As a matter of fact, I think as soon as we said if the Rock segment is the main event, then the turn is happening then and not at Mania.
Well, we're not talking. Let's still talk the match before we talk about that.
Sure. So Drew got eliminated first by Damian Priest. Before CM Punk was even in the match, but for what it's worth. Damian got eliminated by Logan Paul. Logan Paul and Seth Rollins both got eliminated by CM Punk. Then Punk was eliminated by John Cena with the help of Seth Rollins.
So I want to talk about two moments in particular. Logan hit the double buckshot, and then he tried it on Punk, and Punk's like, "I'm not dealing with this shit again.
I'm not falling for that shit again."
And he slapped him to get his comeuppance, and then hit the GTS, and Paul was gone. I thought that was funny because it was almost a carbon copy of the same spot they did at Double or Nothing 2022, but it was like a lot smoother because there wasn't this like stop. If you watch back the Double or Nothing, there's like a little pause in between when Punk spins it around into the GTS.
Well, as soon as it was determined that Punk would be pinning Logan Paul, you better believe CM Punk knew exactly what Logan Paul's moves were. And this is the way I need to beat him.
Because fucking half of 70% of his moveset is Hangman's moveset.
Yes, you're not wrong. Does he do it
And then
better?
there's more force with Hangman versus the fluidity of Paul.
Depends on what you like, I suppose. Go on. Your other point you wanted to get to.
When Punk and Cena saw each other and they're like, I missed you. Those two have not been in a ring together for 12 years, and it did not look like they had missed a beat. Like they were, they throw out the term wrestling soulmates. I've seen that a lot over the past couple of days. Those two are wrestling soulmates because they just like went back to exactly what they were doing 12 years ago, and it was fluid. It looked great. And whenever they do that match this year, hopefully at Money in the Bank 2025, I can't wait for it.
John Cena had a very good match. Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
No, it's very bittersweet because you hear Michael Cole on commentary, and how much of John Cena and Punk's careers has Michael Cole called? And here they are in 2025 for one of their last go-arounds, not just Cena, but Punk too. I got to imagine he's considering, with all these talks of like AJ before 50 and Cena's last year, and who knows what Orton's going to look like. And, all these people just, winding their careers down who we've been grown up watching ever since the beginning of our fandoms, right? And now you have even something that's not so dated in Cena versus Punk, right? It was maybe 12 years ago, but it goes by so fast. And then you have Cole talking about how they're winding back the clock. And it's these two gunslingers but it doesn't even feel like that long ago, but they're talking about it like it's from yesteryear. You know what I mean?
I think Punk's got a lot more time on the clock than you may think. Mainly
We'll
because
see.
number one, he's actually working pretty full time right now. And number two, he did take 9 years off of bumping.
Yeah, and that injury, his injury history when he was first, wrestling back in AEW, and granted it's AEW too, so who's to say? But all it takes is, especially at his age, man, all it takes is one good one to really, shorten up that clock a little bit. But in any case, it's great to see, like you said, man, it's great to see both of them in the ring together again. And it's definitely at the last time we'll see it.
The big thing is that they still have the chemistry.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but like I said, John Cena put on a very good match, and it's a little unfortunate, but like it was very obvious to me watching this match back again, especially. John Cena performs very differently when he cares about a match rather than when he doesn't.
Yes, he does. That's true.
You look back at that WrestleMania 39 match with Austin Theory, and John Cena didn't give a shit about that match, and you could tell.
I wonder why.
How did I not see that coming?
I hate to compare it to that match, but that is such a perfect example of it, that John Cena didn't give a shit about that match, and I believe that match was the worst match on the entire card both nights. Like, that match sucked. And a lot of matches on that card, maybe they weren't like amazing, but they weren't that bad. But in this match, John Cena looked like he hadn't missed a beat. So, it's just an interesting observation.
Like actually practicing in between versus, just, playing the hits.
Mm.
Well, he's definitely dancing with all the heavy hitters in the company too. So,
yeah,
it's definitely people he's familiar with. Seth Rollins, obviously, CM Punk. Tangle up a little bit with like Logan Paul, but if you consider just the visibility he has and what he gives to the company, you can consider him.
It's worth.
I don't think it's out of league to consider him.
It's
right. I don't think it's out of. Exactly. It's not out of line to consider him as one who belongs in that grouping.
Yep. Post match, Cody comes out to, have the stare down with his number one contender from WrestleMania. And then the final boss and Travis Scott's music hit. They come out. And I got to say, Travis Scott did not look like he belonged during this entire thing.
From the get, man, he was like, I don't know what the fuck he was on besides the sage he had been puffing like through that entire segment. But you see him coming out to the arena, just fucking has his hood like fucking tucked into his scalp and just like shaking all around and shit coming in the arena. Like that couldn't have just been the energy of the crowd, man. Like there's something else going on with that man.
He looked tiny
I
as hell
mean,
too compared to all these guys in the ring too, which certainly didn't help.
yes. Well, I mean, in fairness, they are all, with the exception of maybe Cody, they are all pretty gigantic men,
Even
especially The
Cody's
Rock.
pretty big. But they all come out. Dwayne does his last pitch. And then Cody, he talks about how he doesn't have a soul to sell. He sold it a long time ago to the fans in this ring. And then, of course, drop the
Go fuck yourself.
to the final boss.
Uncensored on
Uncensored.
the
Was
network.
that the first unintentional F bomb on WWE television?
No,
Or sorry, first
it's been said
intentional. Sorry,
before.
but an intentional one that was like meant to deliver and was delivered uncensored and is continuing to be shown uncensored.
Then probably yes, I would think so.
Yeah,
It's the first fuck bomb that the company got behind, I will say.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, there's been obviously the Rock's dropped F bombs and other people have dropped
Vince
F
dropped one in
bombs.
2016.
Who did? Sorry,
Vince McMahon did on a Raw.
Oh, when he said he was going to give Shane a fucking beating. Was that when they were fighting for control of the company or something like that?
The lockbox.
Oh, we still haven't found out what's in the box.
Oh God,
Okay.
What's in the box?
But anyway, yeah, that was like the first intentional one, and they gave it to man, like I can rewatch this segment and promo so much, and
Go fuck yourself.
like I tweeted out, I was like, this moment main eventing, like this deserved the main event for that alone.
and
Well, it's just so
then
impactful.
it was,
And
then yeah, John Cena during this whole thing was very animated, very animated.
Oh,
He
yeah.
popped for the fuck bomb, man.
Yeah,
He popped like hell for the fuck bomb. He's like, yeah.
yeah.
They also popped for the fuck bomb.
Well, I think we all popped for the fuck bomb. They embrace, and John Cena looks at The Rock. The Rock slits his throat with his fingers, and John Cena gives the low blow to Cody and the beatdown in the quote most shocking moment in WWE history unquote. We called it on this podcast.
You can call it, but it's still like there was a chance it wasn't going to happen. John could have been like, "No, I'm not turning heel."
Well, it's one thing to see it too.
It's one thing to see. This is legitimately maybe the biggest heel turn ever, besides Hogan's NWO.
Yes.
Hogan joining the NWO. This is a moment that transcends wrestling to a point where, like, if there was no Twitter or X, people would still be talking about it, like, "Oh my God, did you hear John Cena? John Cena's a bad guy." Like, this is
Major League Baseball tweeted about it. For context,
hip hop heads on Reddit put fucking bad man. Like that was like the biggest trending thing on that subreddit. And people were like, "What did John Cena do?" Like this is a moment that transcends wrestling to the nth degree because it's a moment that people thought was never going to happen. This is the first time that John Cena is a heel since 2003, which, fun fact, same as The Rock, but the fact that they actually did it is just it's shocking. Even now, even if we called it, it doesn't matter. It happened, and Donny, you got to see it live, and that's a pretty insane moment to be in house for.
Really cool to be like, and arguably, in the house for two of the top, let's say, 10 moments in WWE history this year, or in the last 12 calendar months, with Cody finishing a story and this.
In the most sports entertaining match of all time.
Like
that last 10 minutes of that Cody Roman match are just insane.
Yeah, like
it was just a roller coaster.
I've only been going to PLEs since SummerSlam 2022, and I've got some really blessed ones on my resume already.
Oh yeah, you've hit some home runs, buddy.
Brock flipping the ring at SummerSlam to Sammy in Montreal to the last 2 years of WrestleMania. Now this, like, probably the least technically impactful one was Money in the Bank last year.
I feel blessed that I got to go to Mania last year, and I went to the Rumble this year and got to see 2 very good Rumble matches. And last year we probably saw a top 5 Mania, which listeners at home keep listening. We're gonna have a Mania, or like a ranking of Mania roundtable coming up soon. But when it comes to moments in WWE, there's not many close to this, because this is as shocking as Taker losing the streak.
Yeah, this is like, that was in my head. Like in WWE itself, ignoring the Hogan turn, the only thing I could think of that comes close to this is Taker losing to Lesnar.
The only other thing is you have to go way back for it, and maybe you could throw Steve Austin siding with Vince McMahon and X7, but it's very much that was misjudged and mistimed because nobody wanted to boo Steve Austin at that point.
It arguably took The Rock out of the business.
Arguably, yeah. The only thing that I could think would be similar is when Bruno lost the title and MSG goes silent. That's way back territory days, but that was, I don't know if you guys know this, but when Bruno had that 8-year title reign, he finally decided to lose it. I think he lost it to Ivan Koloff.
Yeah, you're right.
Ivan hit the last move and pinned him. Bruno thought his eardrum has burst because MSG fell silent.
Yeah.
And that was the end of an era at that point, right? Like, truly.
And, I mean, that was very similar to WrestleMania 30 when Taker lost the streak, but that was shocking in a way because nobody thought we'd ever see it. People were freaking out at Elimination Chamber because nobody thought we were going to see it, and then it happened, and they brutalized Cody, especially Travis Scott.
Yeah, if that report is correct, we haven't got any sort of tangible confirmation of that as far as I know. But
he's training to be a wrestler, don't you know? Gotta leave your mark. It's like prison rules. Gotta hit him hard, hit him quick.
Cody has a black eye and a ruptured eardrum. Care of Travis Scott.
Paintbrushed Cody. That is not a... no kayfabe there. That was a fucking smack.
Well, Travis Scott better hope that he doesn't have a follow-up match with Cody Rhodes, because receipts are a bitch in this industry, as we all know.
Yeah, better hope he's smoke a little extra sage that day.
Like, people are saying he's got a hell of a receipt coming. I don't think Cody's gonna fucking shoot on him.
No, Cody's very a respectful guy. He probably gave him shit for it, but I don't see him actually like full out blasting Travis Scott in the face.
I mean, you know, I said last week I wanted to see Homelander versus Superman.
Nope.
It's like, what is it? The death of Superman, the injustice, evil Superman. Like
Bizarro Superman.
No, you've got what's his face? You've got
Omni-Man.
No. Oh my God. Peacemaker. You got Peacemaker Cena.
Peacemaker versus Homelander. It's a Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, it's
MK11.
You got the Peacemaker versus Captain America now at this point instead. So,
and I'm sure we're gonna hear a new track from Cena, probably that "Say My Name" that he's been holding on to.
No,
and not Def Rebel garbage. Go fuck yourself, Donny.
No. The best way to establish your heel run is by a Def Rebel song. So I hope John
Cena is not coming out to any Def Rebel bullshit.
I can't wait.
I heard Travis Scott's making his new track. Or at least going in on it with him.
I also heard that as well.
Which makes perfect sense.
That does make sense.
And on the note of perfect sense,
maybe they remix that one from 2012 and add Travis Scott to it.
Well, if it was only produced by John Cena, I would say yes. But if it involved any of the old guard like Jim Johnson or CFO, I would not hold my breath for that.
John Cena's been his own producer with a little bit of Jim Johnson, so I'm sure there's some Johnston. It's a Johnston jam a little bit.
I'm down for a Johnson jam.
We also might get more merch with the trademark that WWE filed. They filed "Break a Wish" That's a trademark.
Oh, they actually
Oh my
went ahead
God.
with that, huh?
He did.
Oh god
Have you
damn.
guys seen that meme where it's John Cena like at a Make-A-Wish kid, and it's like heel John Cena, and it just has him saying "give up" to the kid.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I've seen a
fucking
bunch of
God, is
dumb
it funny?
ones. I've seen a bunch of dumb ones.
Or
I've
the other
seen like Brock Lesnar throwing the kid in the wheelchair down the stairs as like the next Make a Wish thing, or yeah, it's
or John Cena resuscitating Osama bin Laden.
oh god.
We have
Oh
revived
yeah.
and resuscitated to a permanent
Oh,
end Osama bin Laden. No, John, no.
Oh man.
Uh,
Uh we talked about this is the last thing I want to leave this on before we move on to the last bit of stuff we want to do on the show. We talked a lot about the build of WrestleMania and it being, maybe not the best. With Jey Uso, you can say what you want about him winning or not winning. He was not the number one or number two choice for a lot of people. And Charlotte Flair certainly wasn't the number one or number two choice for a lot of people. And the other builds just kind of weren't hitting all that well. Where are we at with WrestleMania 41 after Elimination Chamber?
I mean, heel John Cena's in the main event. What more could you want?
I don't think you put anybody last except for Cody and Cena. I can't see it. Even if I know like there's always been that thing of the Royal Rumble winner goes on last, but like this is such a clear exception.
Royal Rumble winner there's been plenty of options for the Royal Rumble winner not going on last. It happens more often than people think, and
I'm just saying per tradition.
Per tradition, but it happens constantly. WrestleMania 22, Rey Mysterio did not go on last. WrestleMania 24, John Cena didn't go on last. Let me see. WrestleMania 26, Edge didn't go on last. 27, Alberto Del Douchebag didn't go on last. 28, Sheamus didn't go on last.
And Alberto won the largest Royal Rumble, didn't he?
At the time.
Well, at the time, yes, until, Saudi Arabia happened.
Well, no, the actual Royal Rumble, yes, not the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yes.
But it happens pretty constant. I mean, Shinsuke didn't main event Mania,
Yeah, and
yeah, I
most
suppose.
of the women don't main event Mania either, even though they win.
Yeah, not yet. That's going to be coming, though, I feel.
Seth Rollins opened Mania. You know what I mean? People, the Royal Rumble winner is either going to open or close WrestleMania because the two most important matches are the main event and the opening match because they set and end the show. So I think Cena and Cody is going to close because they're going to give Cena one more main event before his career is done.
Oh, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that night 2 main event is Cody Cena.
Now, do we think that it ends on the note of John Cena winning 17? Was it worth it for him to sell his soul in this?
Maybe we should leave that for our Mania predictions.
That's another, but there can be a lot of things that happen there. There could be a lot of things. I don't know if I want to leave it necessarily all for the Mania discussion, but
I think we should wait till we hear from Cena before we decide because Cena's not going to be on TV for like 3 weeks right now.
He's going to cut a heel promo. We'll see what happens.
Weeks. Let's hear the promo and then let's talk about it.
Oh, man, I wanted to say my one little thing, but
go ahead, say your thing.
Well, no, let Brandon first because Brandon started it. I don't want to take his thunder.
What did I start? What did I do now?
Like, what do we get out of John Cena? I'm just saying that I'm not convinced he's going to stay heel the whole time.
Oh, not the whole time. No, I mean, he's definitely going to get in good graces.
He could double. You never know. He could double screw The Rock out of this. Could be a double. He turns and then turns back to screw The Rock. You never know. They don't like each other. He
kicked Cody in the balls, though.
Yeah, but
you don't just turn around and say sorry after that.
Yeah,
he kicked the man in the ding ding in front of the whole world, man.
Just saying. Never know.
In Canada.
Wrestling's a funny business. Yeah, Canada's Bizarro world. It doesn't count.
Well, I was saying Canada's a very peaceful place, and to do such a violent action.
Yeah, but it's
and amongst such polite people, that's. I feel like that cements it, really.
Canada's always been known as Bizarro Land, where you cheer the heel and boo the face, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Cena at least makes it to Survivor Series or something like around that time before we start to see him come back around. I think we get a good play out of a heel Cena.
Okay.
I think whenever he loses the title, that's when the turn happens again.
Guess we'll
Yeah,
find
whenever
out.
that happens.
Guess we'll
Yeah,
find
yeah.
out. Out of 10, what did you score this PLE?
10 easily. I mean, everything hit on all cylinders, and we had one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling history. So, off that, I'm giving it a 10.
Brandon?
I don't know what would make a 10 PLE in my eyes. I'd say it was a very strong 9, even like a 9.5, because, right, I mean, if you,
I'm sure it has to do with Austin Theory winning the title and then R-Truth beating
nah,
him.
nah, 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 nah.
No,
No,
I'm kind of with Brandon on this side. The tag match was a tag match.
I mean, and they don't all have to burn and bellow, right? Like there's, sequence for a reason, right? Like you were saying, like you have matches that start the PLE, and then you have the middle, and then you have your closer.
Yeah.
And they're not all going to be 5-star epics, right? And I feel like the
Correct.
tag match did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
we
a good
have,
match that did what it needed to.
Yep.
yeah, Tiff got her win over Naya, right? She got a pinfall over her. She hopefully can put, Candice and Naya in the rear view and focus going forward on Charlotte and maybe potentially Trish down the line. Who knows? But that's a whole other podcast of, speculation. But I don't know. I mean, it did very, very well. And I critiqued how it didn't have any title matches on it at all, which was the first time in years that that's occurred. And I believe the last one that had that sort of layout didn't perform nearly as well as this. So kudos for them to hold that kind of standard and to maintain it even without title matches.
So what's your
Yeah, I
number?
don't know what makes it a 10. 9.5.
I don't know what, like, on my side, like I was thinking it's like, okay, well, the second match was a match, but the start of the show, the end of the show, both Elimination Chamber matches, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn absolutely delivered. I don't know how you couldn't give it a 10. Like, I don't know what else you could expect out of 3.5
So,
hours that you didn't get on this
right.
show.
Yeah, this is my kind of my criteria. The best wrestling show that I've ever seen was All Out 2021. I don't know if either of you guys watched that.
Probably
That
did.
was the return of Punk, and top to bottom, everything delivers. And then there's one match which was Paul White versus QT Marshall, and it just kind of happened. But in my mind, that's still the greatest wrestling show I've ever seen. Like even X7, which is what people say is the best WWE show they've ever produced. I think there's a Test Eddie Guerrero match that isn't that good, and or Backlash 2000. There's a couple matches on there. Categorically, that's 2000 is the best year that WWE ever had, and there categorically there's a couple matches on there that aren't good, but people will still rate that a 10 out of 10. I get what you're saying, Brandon, but there's I don't think we'll see a PLE like this for a while.
Like I said, I don't know what
Yeah,
else
we
you
got a whole
do.
year ahead of us.
I don't know what
Right.
else you do from like end to end and in the middle to say you could put on a better show than this. Like honest question there to you, Brandon. What could have been better to say that's not a 10?
And that's just it. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe I am being a little bit. I mean, when you talk about lack of stakes and stuff without the titles, but even without the titles, like I said, this had a lot of weight to it. Like you carried a lot of personal feuds. Like you ended one feud with Tiff. You carry on another feud with Sammy and Kevin. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to put my finger on it. Maybe I'd have to give that some thought.
All
But
right.
I mean,
That's okay.
for what it was, man. I mean, I didn't want to drop fisticuffs as a result of that. I just was like,
No, it's an
you
honest
know,
question, right? Like,
no, right. And I'm honestly trying to answer it, but I have to actually probably really ponder that. And maybe I changed my mind. Who's to say? But I I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what exactly. I'd have to really ponder what makes it a 10 for me.
yeah. For me, from my side, it's like, well, even if that tag match was a stronger match, then it's just like, well, then it's just above a 10, right? Because then we start going into Thunderdome or Tokyo Dome stuff, right? Like, so
Right.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like that match did what it needed to do, filled the start, middle, and fantastic. Give it a 10. I think Pierce is on the same side on that front.
Mm.
Yeah, every card is gonna have a somewhat down moment. You're never gonna have just straight perfection.
Oh, don't tell that to Tony
But
Khan. Speaking
this
of
is as
Tony
close to
Khan,
perfection as you can get.
Hey.
speaking of Tony Khan, let's do our quick hits on AEW Revolution. That is this coming Sunday from Crypto.com
Donny,
Arena.
since this is quick hits, if you'd like to keep your finger on the button, feel free.
All right, duly noted. Let's kick it off with the only pre-match announced so far, which is Big Boom, AJ, and the conglomeration of Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe versus Johnny TV and the MXM collection of Mansoor and Mason Madden.
AJ is probably the Costco guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. AJ pins Mansoor.
That sounds about right. Next match, getting onto the main card here. For the AEW Continental Championship, Kazuchika Okada defends against Brody King.
Okada.
Yeah, Brody's going to light him up, but Okada, they're saving that for all in Texas.
Easily a banger. Easily
Yeah.
a banger, but Okada.
Good match. Okada should win. In a steel cage match, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher.
This is probably going to be one of the most insane steel cage matches we've ever seen. Ospreay wins.
Yep.
I second that sentiment.
Yeah, I third it, and it's nothing else to say. Two talented guys. Ospreay needs to get the win back. So, MJF versus Hangman Adam Page.
This is probably going to be the match of the night, and probably going to be the like story-est match of the night, like sports entertaining. I think MJF wins though.
Yeah, he has no problem being a villain in this story. I think he uses that to kick off this massive series.
I think if there was a stip of associated with this match, I might agree with you. But as a singles match alone, there might be. I don't think it'll be the best match on the card. I do think MJF wins though. Next up is for the number one contender of the AEW World Championship, Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet.
Swerve.
Yeah,
Wins.
given that Mox is champ.
You're humming and hawing. I think Ricochet wins.
Oh, hemming and hawing. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, hemming on a bit there, but
okay. Well, Mox is champ, so I'd say in this case, Swerve's going to win.
For now, he's champ.
For now.
For the AEW TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné defends against Momo Watanabe.
probably a very good match. Mercedes wins.
Yeah, I don't see her taking a belt off or anytime soon. Mercedes.
Lol Moné wins. For the AEW World Tag Team Championship, the Hurt Syndicate defends against the Outrunners.
Can the Outrunners please win? I know the Hurt Syndicate are going to win, but Outrunners, please?
Yeah. Someone's getting hurt, and I don't think it's the Syndicate, so I'm going to say they're going to win by hurting the Outrunners. I'm sorry, Pierce.
Yeah, I also believe the Hurt Syndicate will retain here.
It's going to make me so sad, man.
It's going to be very sad. But it's going to happen.
In a Falls Count Anywhere match for the AEW Women's World Championship, I think it's also being billed as the Hollywood finish match.
End or something like that.
Hollywood End, something like that. Timeless Tony Storm defends against Mariah May.
This is kind of tough on.
I think Tony's got in the bag, and I hope the feud ends. I hope Mariah's stronger at the end, but Tony versus Mariah is not Mariah. Sorry, Tony versus Mercedes is endgame.
Yeah, I think Tony wins. I think there's a chance Mercedes could win, or not Mercedes.
Mariah.
God damn it, Brandon. Mariah. Mariah could win, but I think Tony's going to pull it out, and I think it's going to be the cap to the best women's feud they've ever done.
I think Mariah May should win this match. I don't think we need another extended run with Tony as world champion, but I still think she does end up winning. For the AEW International Championship, Konosuke Takeshita defends against Kenny Omega.
In terms of pure wrestling, this is probably going to be the best match on the card.
This is the best match on the card. Like this match
yeah.
is going to fucking bang.
It's going to fuck. It will be a match of the year candidate.
It's gonna fuck. I agree. There's a lot of matches on this card that are gonna fuck. Fuck it, Kenny Omega.
I'll also have to agree, Kenny Omega.
I mean, how can I not cheer for the Canadian content in Kenny Omega?
Hey.
But I think he's going to go on a little trip to Japan for a while.
I mean, he's still got another belt.
And the main event for the AEW World Championship, allegedly, Jon Moxley defends a black bag against Cope.
Ugh.
I think Cope's going to win because of this. And it's going to piss. Like, I'm fine with it, but just get the title off Mox and let him take a vacation.
Another one? Could have sworn he just had a vacation.
Well, his one vacation wasn't really a vacation.
Well, I thought he took a vacation, because could have been before his world title reign or something like that.
He had a stint in rehab.
Well, I mean, not including the rehab stint.
I don't think he had it. He was supposed to be on a break multiple times, and then shit kind of happened, and he got thrusted back in.
I knew that was a thing. Maybe I'm getting my things all jumbled here. I ain't jumbling this though. I think
in your jam.
Yeah, this is really gonna rustle my jimmies here, but I'm thinking Cope wins, and I'm thinking also now we don't expect it, maybe we do, but I think Christian finally cashes in his Casino Royale in the Bank contract and upends Cope's proud moment
again.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Cope wins. I think Christian cashes in. I don't know what the result of that cash-in is going to be.
It could fail.
Pierce, you talked about, an ideal world, Luchasaurus screws him over. I think that would be
if he's okay, they should run that story.
That's what I think. If he's healthy enough to even just do a run in to screw him, even if he's not cleared to compete, but you can at least just get him to do that. I think that's the route to go. I'm not thrilled at the idea of Cope being champion. I'm not thrilled at the idea of Christian being champion either, to be honest with you. But I'm definitely not thrilled with Jon Moxley continuing to be champion. So, what's the less of all these evils?
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's been nothing thrilling about Moxley's title reign over the last several months.
No, it sure hasn't. That's what we've got for Revolution. We'll review this episode or this pay-per-view with some more depth next week. Last thing we want to get into here is NXT Roadblock, which is next Tuesday. Since they're doing a show at Madison Square Garden on Monday for Raw, which apparently has CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a steel cage. We didn't even talk about that. Interesting choice to have that match then. Anybody?
I was gonna say,
opinions on
what do
that?
you want to talk about?
Any thoughts on them running a second match on a Raw before we even get a PLE match between the two of them?
Well, I did say that Raw was going to cook like hell leading up to WrestleMania, and this is definitely going to, jump the burner a bit. And I'm just curious to see how the tribal chief will factor into all of this, if speculation is to be believed,
Pierce?
and we do end up with a triple threat.
Punk wins because of Roman, and then Roman also spears Punk after the match,
Does he have a reason to spear Punk?
dumping him out in the Rumble because they teamed together a month ago.
I guess.
And he's trying to pit his wise man against him. Might be a little bit of jealousy there too. You know how it goes when you run into the old flame, whatever.
I guess. I don't know. That seems a little bit loose to me. He has very good reason to beat the shit out of Seth Rollins, but we'll see how that turns out on Monday.
Roman's still not a good guy in my eyes. He's still just an asshole.
Yeah, but you also think Seth Rollins is a heel.
Yeah. So, what's your point?
He's not. His intro at Elimination Chamber should have showed you that.
I mean, the end of Elimination Chamber showed me that he's.
He just doesn't like CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and that's it. Anyways, Roadblock next Tuesday. 5 matches on the card. Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez.
Jordan
Grace.
Yeah.
Yes. In a New York City street fight, Javon Evans versus Ethan Page.
Probably Javon.
Yeah, I think Javon seals it in the street fight. I think he gets some equalizers. He definitely scuffs up Ethan a bit.
I also think Javon wins this one. For the TNA World Tag Team Championship, the Hardy Boys defend against Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
I kind of think Fraxium takes it.
I think we get a series out of this one too. But I think we start off. I think we get a shot over the bow. I think the first title exchange across companies is Fraxium taking the tag titles from the Hardys.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Hardys will get them back pretty quick, aka stand and deliver. But Nathan Frazier and Axiom, I think, take that. Oba Femi defends the NXT Championship against Moose.
Well, Oba's not losing, that's for damn sure.
He sure isn't.
Ruler.
Yeah, he sure isn't.
So, is this a title for title? I've heard title for title.
It is not listed as title for title. No, it is just for the NXT Championship.
Because he defends in a couple days against Jeff too, does Moose. So I'm like, but they kept bringing it up. So I'm like, and then on the card it says it's not. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
It is not booked as a title for title match. What is booked for a title for title match is the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT Women's North American Championship. Julia Stephanie Vaquer. Very interesting choice to have this match on this show.
If
on Roadblock, right?
Julia is real, then Stephanie wins. If it's not, non-finish.
I thought I read today that it wasn't so bad, at least not as bad as they had kind of hyped it to be initially. I feel it goes to non-finish because you do have Stand and Deliver coming up, and I feel like they could still easily run it back. Yeah, I don't know how, but I feel like it's just going to be a non-finish. I don't see anyone pinning anyone.
Do we get any sort of interference to cause it to be a non-finish, like Jordan Grace? I don't know why she would, because she's not that type of character, but...
Yeah, I would have said something about Zarya earlier, but she seems to be in this tag with Sol Ruka now. I'm pretty focused on that.
Jada Parker said something.
Yeah, Jada Parker did call them out.
I mean, Rocks maybe? I don't know.
I still think if Cora is clear, the match is her and hopefully if Cora is healthy enough for Stand and Deliver, I still think that's the match.
Yeah.
I will take that to the grave. There is no better send-off match for Roxanne than losing to Cora.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one there, bud.
But
And
yeah.
hopefully everyone stays healthy, and hopefully we all get great performances out of everybody, but particularly the women, because they're definitely going to be carrying these next two cards for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. And also just the ending on NXT last night. Sean Spears is your new men's North American champion.
Only took him 17 years, but you know, the
Hell yeah.
chairman finally abides.
I'm all for it. I love Sean Spears. Like I was saying, he's one of the best hands in wrestling, and you know, he's helping the generation of the future. So let's give him a
Agree.
little run.
I don't think Tony D is much longer for the NXT roster.
No.
No, he's the last of the 2.0 guys, so
Yeah,
the 2.0 forward.
I see Stacks sending him to the main roster at Stand and Deliver or in and around there.
I don't know how his character will work on the main roster, but we'll see. I think he'd be really fun on Netflix Raw.
Go in as a heel. I think like the face Tony D is okay, but an actual, toughened heel character in that image that could work on the mid card.
Well, but then you already got like Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser who kind of fulfill that pretty well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We need
I don't know.
mobsters murdering people. Italian
And bowler hats.
I think Tony D can certainly cut a better
Hey,
character
paisano.
promo than I think that either of those two can. I like Ludwig Kaiser, but I think Tony D's promo ability is a little bit better.
Oh, sure.
And Pete Dunne's is not as close. Not like he's not close to being
No,
able to have a character like that. So
I'm just talking about like your general like bruiser type guy, like the no nonsense, hard hitting. You have quite a few of those that fill the quota on Raw. I feel like
you can put him on SmackDown.
not saying, yeah, I'm saying either way. Like it doesn't hurt to have another hand on, but like it's just. And then right, like how does Tony's gimmick translate to the main roster too? Like, granted, there's still
he'll come up around the draft anyway, so you got to imagine that like there would be some shuffling of who goes where regardless. So I wouldn't be too
sure.
Locked into knowing who's on Raw right now because that can change quite easily by the time he comes up.
I guess either on Raw or SmackDown, like to your point, like how does a character like that fit? Just because it works on NXT, obviously, it doesn't mean it's going to work on the main roster by any stretch.
True.
Like Italian mobster in any avenue, at any point, seems kind of like I hate to curse it, but it seems like a very Vincey kind of gimmick. You know what I mean? Like very caricature. I don't know. Like you don't see that kind of shit anymore. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it's definitely not like as relevant in pop culture. But
you can still just put people in trunks. You'll get some entertainment about putting some people in trunks, I think.
Spaghetti.
Oh, sure.
Lasagna. Fucking
fettuccine, paisano.
Cannolis.
Pizza.
If only you could see my hands right now.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing, brother.
We're connecting. We're doing a little seance right now.
All right.
Give me your energy.
That's all we got for this week.
Guys?
Give me your linguine.
That's all we got for this week, guys.
Well, it's next week for our fucking spaghetti recipe.
Yeah, next
wait till we get video cameras in front of us, guys. It's going to be a fucking hoot. It's going to be a hoot and a half.
We're making that spaghetti.
Next week, we've got Roadblock results and Revolution results. Week after that, we still got to figure out. And then we get into Mania season legitimately at the end of March on this podcast. So stay tuned.
The road to WrestleMania.
Donny's singing again.
I got nothing else to add.
I was kind of trying to channel my Pokemon fandom with Road to Viridian City, but making it WrestleMania. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, that takes me back. That strikes a chord.
Well, you're welcome, Brandon. You got anything else? Otherwise,
Yes, I love that.
That was about it.
That's about it. I think I'll send us home then. As always, thanks for stopping into the Ope-Eh 3-Way. Have a beer on us. See you next time. Thanks for listening.